So today we're going to be learning about solving systems of equation using substitution. To review, we began solving systems of equations by graphing them and finding the place that they intersect. That gave us a point that was an ordered pair with an x and a y value. We also discovered that when two equations are the same line, they have infinite solutions, like they're layered on top of each other. And if they're parallel, they have no solution at all. But sometimes it isn't practical to graph the equations, and we have to solve them algebraically. So let's go ahead and try this one together. We have y equals 2x plus 1 and y equals negative 2x plus 3. Now, the first step is going to be to solve for one of the variables. Now, in this case, both of our equations have already been solved for y. And we can just put them equal to each other. So we can take this value and put it in for y, which is going to give us 2x plus 1 equals negative 2x plus 3. Now we solve it like we would any other equation, starting first to get our variables on the same side, usually choosing the direction that will give us a positive variable value. So here we end up with 4x plus 1 equals 3. Subtract 1 from both sides. 4x equals 2. And then divide by 4. We are left with x equals 1/2. So now we're going to look back at our equations, and we're going to plug in our x value into one of these equations. So we're going to do y equals 2 times 1/2 plus 1, which is going to give us y equals 1 plus 1, which gives us y equals 2. So we now have our x value and our y value, which is 1/2 and 2. But as we know, the smart thing to do is to plug these numbers into our second equation and see if it makes sense. So our second equation is y equals negative 2. We're going to plug in our x value plus 3. So then we have y equals negative 1 plus 3, which gives us y equals 2. So as you can see, when x is 1/2, y is 2, which is consistent with the answer we have. Always remember to check your work. By inputting the x into the other equation, does your y value show what the ordered pair says it should? If it doesn't, then you made a mistake somewhere and you need to go back to the beginning and try again. So let's review the steps. First, we're going to solve at least one of the equations for a variable. In this case, both of our equations were already solved for y. Second, we're going to substitute. So we can take one of the y values and put it in for the other one, which gave us our first equation that we can work with. Next, we're going to solve for the remaining variable. Then you're going to plug in the result back into one of the equations. So here we took our x value and we put it into the equation, which gives us our y value. Lastly, we're going to check our work by seeing if our ordered pair works in the other equation. So take a moment to try this equation on your own. Check your notes that you just took and follow the steps. Go ahead and pause the video and come back when you're done. Okay, let's go ahead and do this together. We're going to start with this first equation and solving for y. So I'm going to do 4x plus 2y equals 2. I'm going to subtract 4x from each side, which is going to give us 2y equals negative 4x plus 2, and then divide everything by 2. Y equals negative 2x plus 1. Now we can solve the other equation for y and put them equal to each other, or since we have this side equal to y, we can just plug that in for our other y value. So we're going to have negative 3x plus 3, and then plug in our y value, negative 2x plus 1 is equal to 6. Negative 3x, use our distributive property, minus 6x plus 3 equals 6. Negative 9x plus 3 equals 6. Subtract 3 from each side. Negative 9x equals 3. And then divide by negative 9, which is going to give us x equals negative 1 over 3. Okay, so now we're going to put our negative 1/3 back into an equation. Here we already simplified equation 1, which will make it really easy for us to plug our value back in there. So we're going to do y equals negative 2 times negative 1/3 plus 1, which equals y 2 over 3 plus 1, so y equals 5 over 3. This gives us an ordered pair of negative 1/3, 5/3. Now it's time to check and make sure that we got the right ordered pair. So to do that, we've already used the first equation. Now we're going to use the second equation to check our work. So we are going to do negative 3 times negative 1/3 plus 3 times 5/3 and see if that equals 6. So once you enter all this in and simplify, you will find that in fact 6 does equal 6. So I know that this is a really big concept and it might take us a little while to get it perfect, but keep your notebook handy, look at your steps, make sure you've written each one down. If you have to come back to this video, do so. The Desmos activity that you'll be doing on Friday will be a fun way for you to practice solving equations algebraically. So make sure you do them all. Make sure you do them till you can get them correct. And let me know if you have any questions. I will be posting an anonymous Padlet for you guys to post any questions or respond to questions that you may have. Thanks. Have a good day. Bye-bye.